Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in miniature. And you know what I like? I like Cataphracts. Like this gripping beast Cataphract right here. Maybe not the best paint job, but he's painted, so yeah. But you know what I found? More Cataphracts! This time, Byzantine Cataphracts. And they come to us from Fireforge games as part of their Deus Vult line of medieval and, similar style models. So they did a whole Byzantine range of models on Kickstarter originally, and that's where these guys came from. It took them a while to get out into distribution, but they have made it. I got this from the States. You can see it had a tough time getting across state lines there, but it made it. So look at those. Usually, and you've heard me maybe on this channel before, voice my complaints about having to build, well, not build so much as paint cavalry, but I am looking forward to these. I love heavily armored cavalry. At least then it makes it worthwhile to me. And these are pretty darn uniform, so I think that's going to work to my advantage as well. I don't know about that color necessarily. These dudes just look awesome on the cover. Like Dark Souls looking stuff. Alright. We got a bunch of sprues. Let's take a look. So we have, I believe, two main types. And I don't want to lose these because I keep losing all of my rectangular cavalry bases. Alright. Looks like we have enough to make 12 riders. So. Let me get our horse heads in focus there, which they don't want to do at the moment. I apologize. There we go. See, there is a bit of variation there. Not a whole lot. It's hard to have a lot of variation when you were covered in big banded armor. Tails all seem to be the same. Various poses. I don't know if a certain left side goes with a certain right side. We'll find that out soon enough. Sometimes they have like the inner markings, A's and B's. No issue there. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, we have top knots and not top knots. No faces. Hooray. Shields are not attached to the arm. So if you don't use them for some bizarre reason, you can go ahead and replace those. We've got our charging lance and two Addies lances. I guess they're big giant spears actually. We do have enough swords on the sprue for everybody. Of course, if you've been playing or collecting more ancient type models, you probably have a plethora of extra swords and scabbards. All of our offhands are the same. Waists are the same. And I'm assuming that the legs are as well. Don't know for sure. I'll try mixing and matching just to see what happens. Hopefully I'll remember that in the second half of this video. I can't guarantee that. Surprisingly, there's no arms with their swords out. I'm kind of surprised about that. We do have the hands with the maces, though. Interesting to see. Not that it's going to be that hard to, I'm sure, convert an extra arm or two with a blade if you have other Fireforge kits. My first thought is their Albion Knights or their Teutonic Knights, or which other... I know they've kind of reused their Knight's frame on a couple of different occasions in various forms. So I'm going to see if I have a couple extra arms. I don't know. I'm going to keep them like this. I think the big heavy maces are a heck of a lot more imposing than just a blade. We're going to be smashing our way through things. So give me a sec. We'll get these guys all put together. We'll see how they turn out and grab our other Cataphracts while we're at it. Alright, we've been busy building Cataphracts. And looking at this dude with the mace up in the air like that, I just get flashbacks to old Britain's plastic knights from my childhood. Totally. I mean, detail on these guys, really nice. I think especially if you're going to do some washes, it's going to really help these pop with just the thick layers of the barding and the armor that they're wearing there. So one thing to be mindful of is the direction that the horse heads are actually pointing in. I noticed on a couple of the ones I was goofing around with here, you're going to have them bashing their horses' brains in with those maces. So I've been playing around with just various basing ideas. They work just as well on circular bases. I'm thinking the circular ones I'm probably going to put mace wielders on, just because I think the lance type dudes with the spears here are going to be more appropriate in formation rather than just kind of lashing out all on their own. Now, I don't know where these bases came from, and they really don't want to stand up very well with the blue tack on these. Unfortunately, I think these were multi-base cavalry bases from Renedra. I don't know who they came with. I think if you're just going to batch paint these guys, this is an excellent type unit to do it with. And have a nice chunky block of heavily armored cavalry. And I think for most lay people, you can hand wave away the fact that these are, you know, Byzantine Cataphracts, and, you know, oh, they're something else. They're just generic knights or whatever you wanted to use them as, because I don't think most average people outside of historical players are really going to know the difference. So, just to grab for some ideas here. We had to do the inevitable comparison, right? This is with a Ripping Beast Cataphract. These are the Fireforge ones. The Fireforge one is a little bit larger, but I think depending on basing, and especially if you integrated them all into a big unit, you're not going to see a huge discernible difference other than the fact that they've got longer armored coats, whereas the Gripping Beast guys just have a simple layer there. Grabbing another Fireforge model, we have one of their actual Albion / Teutonic Knights. If you guys aren't familiar with these, the big difference is I want to say the Albion Knights had some fancier helmets. That's the only real difference between these and the Teutonic ones. Why I got his cape reversed, I'm not sure. It should be white on the inside and black on the outside, and I did a sloppy job, but that's a whole different story. Look quite well together, I guess. Especially if you're not going to be fudged by different types of armor in anachronistic settings. For size comparison, here we have a pair of, this is mounted men-at-arms, I believe. I think in terms of sizes, they'd work pretty well if you wanted to mix and match. It'd be kind of strange looking, but it would totally work. I guess that's something you get when you have actual, you know, historical stuff where they kind of keep it grounded in reasonable sizes, so we don't end up with things like, you know, the Centaur Avatara here from Conquest. That's supposed to be human size? Yeah. Right. Grabbing a couple other riders. If you wanted to make it into some other monstrosity, yeah, they're going to look a little bit out of scale if you start mixing in, I think, GW stuff. Oh no, you've been uprooted from your seat there. Grabbing an SPQR. Is it a German? I believe it's a Germanic tribesman there. A little bit different time periods. But if you wanted to go that route, I don't know why you couldn't. Of course, the horses here are a little bit smaller, but I think, judging by comments and what I've read, that size isn't all that off in real life. So I gotta say, a nice little kit. I love the heavy armor look. Like I said, it definitely gives me flashbacks to the Britons figures I had as a kid. I am totally going to get these painted up and probably use them for some unintended purpose, but that's okay. That's half the fun of tabletop gaming. I still hope to someday get some of those undead Old Dominion Cataphracts from Conquest. I like the look. Whether or not they're going to be as big as this crazy monstrosity, I'm not sure. It'd be kind of cool if they were. Again, that's a cavalry scale for Conquest. And the idea of having Cataphracts that big just really excites me. Here's the size of one of their human troops if you're not familiar with the game. Kind of a big difference. But yeah, definitely looking forward to getting some paint on these. Should be relatively quick and easy, and hopefully I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for some actual Byzantine foot soldiers as well to back these guys up. Should be fun. So happy hunting for me, and hopefully we'll see some more Byzantine stuff while we wait impatiently for Fireforge to eventually start their Japanese plastic troops. That's what I'm really looking forward to. So I'll keep you posted on that. In the meantime, here's a link down below. If you haven't checked out Fireforge's stuff, please do so. They got some neat historical and fantasy models tossed in their catalog there if you're willing to dig. So with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.